Well, hello, everybody. It's very late on Sunday night, October 24th. Let's talk about week 7 in the games. We've certainly learned some things. It was sort of a choppy week, but there's certainly a lot to talk about. I did watch a lot of these football games today and have a lot to say about what happened. First of all, this 8-3 is a little bit deceiving. Earlier in the day, and all of the previous updates had, I believe, San Francisco beating Indianapolis. The reason why Indianapolis is showing here with a 1 point margin of victory is because they added Michael Badgley as a kicker. I believe today or yesterday they signed him, and that added him here, his contribution here. I'll show you what this looks like and how this works. If you go over to the all player sheet and you see Badgley right here, he was a free agent in everything I sent out previously this week, including this morning. If you have him as a free agent and you watch what happens right here to Indianapolis, watch what happens when we refresh this. Look at this number right here. Refresh this. Let's click inside. Refresh this. You'll see that 0.8 goes away because Michael Badgley was not on Indianapolis. And when you do that and refresh the scores, things flip around. And the 49ers are supposed to win this game. Low-scoring game in the rain. Well, that's not what happened. Michael Badgley actually plays for them, and they have a kicker. So it's important for us to make sure that we have the most current rosters as there are movements late in the week. Sometimes I miss them, and I really got to watch that. It's why the more effort and the more you pay attention to this, and you can really do amazing things with this, the better it works. So let's go back and refresh this. Let's add it back on there. And there you'd have Indianapolis winning this game. And the only good thing is that I said stay away from this game to begin with because it was way down here on the list. So hopefully you didn't make any action on that game. But one of those things that matters, and the more effort, the better it gets. Now, let's talk about the rest of the games. First of all, Green Bay. Everything looks great, right? We had them winning this game by 15. They win the game by 14, 24-10. Everything's awesome, except I was talking about playing the over, and the over didn't happen at all. They didn't even get close. They stopped scoring in the third quarter. So when it comes to over-unders, that over did not happen. While the under in the Carolina Giants game, the lowest projected scoring game, was a very low-scoring game. That worked out. But overall, when you see over here, when you see this just checkerboard of different colors where the colors don't match, this is good. Like the Rams-Lions game, that's a great projection. 25-18 ends up being 28-19. That's awesome. That looks good. But these two games were good. This was good. The rest of it was terrible. Awful. Need to do some work on figuring out why I wasn't able to get like Tampa Bay scoring a ton more points against Chicago. Why we weren't able to get, to see Houston getting less. Only, we had them projecting for 20 points. They only put up 5. Some hard misses there. I don't like that points-wise. However, wins and losses were pretty good. Our big misses were Kansas City, which, by the way, Kansas City, Mahomes getting hurt. Their defense is getting run over. I think what we've learned this week is that Kansas City is not going to be competing for the Super Bowl this year. They might not even make the playoffs the way they're going. They have serious defensive problems. It was evident with Buffalo, and it's now evident as Tennessee just runs over. This game is not even close. The odds makers had it wrong. We had it wrong too. We'll see what we can do in the future. That's a hard miss. Carolina, Sam Darnold, and the backup quarterback for Carolina. I've seen sorority girls throw up better than that quarterback, that backup quarterback. He was awful. They pulled Darnold out. Didn't matter. He was terrible. The Giants are not a good team, and they managed to win this game. The only good thing about that game was that it was the lowest scoring game of the day. And we predicted it to be the lowest scoring game of the day. So that is good. But in terms of win-loss there, it's not good. Great to see the Bengals win. Of course, never trust me. Always trust the algorithm. The algorithm knew the Bengals were going to win this game. We've got Baltimore's points exactly, and then Cincinnati just turns it on late and runs away with this game. Why did the Patriots put up 54 points? I don't know. The one thing we learned about that is never, ever, ever bet on the Jets. Unless we're betting on the Winnipeg Jets in hockey, we do not ever bet on the Jets. That is the lesson to be learned. Also, another thing we learned this week is that the Raiders, since Gruden is gone, are a stronger team. They've got it together. They are focused. The last 2 games they've played very well. They also played well in the first few games of the season. So it's pretty clear that the Gruden email situation was tearing things up in the locker room, and this is a team to be reckoned with now. So we know that going forward. We understand why the algorithm had them a little lower than they should be, because they had a couple losses in the middle of the season that don't make a lot of sense now because they're not operating under the same constraints. So, I mean, you can look at call it like a 7-4 or 8-3 day, depending on what you think about this Indianapolis-San Francisco game with late information. Atlanta and Miami, of course, this game was junk, and Atlanta barely wins at the end. Knew that was going to happen. Just awful game, good game to stay away from, even though the algorithm gets it right. But up top, I mean, a lot of wins, terrible lines there, but Cincinnati kind of makes it okay. And, you know, like I said, we're learning some things. So, I mean, yeah, I'm going to do some more work on the points to figure out how to get these teams that are supposed to run away with it more points, and how to reduce teams like Houston. And who else had a really low-scoring game? Reduce teams like the Bears here. Boy, did they just get run over. Brady's just throwing 600 touchdowns. Like, there's no stopping them. So, an interesting day. You add Thursday in there. We had no Case Keenum in there for the Browns, or no stats. So, even though that was a low-scoring game, we missed that one. So, you're looking at like 8-4, 7-5, something like that for the week. Let's talk about Monday. This is that game that we liked at the very beginning of the week. Now it likes them by a touchdown. Let's now double check the projection pivot sheet to make sure that everything is kosher, essentially, with who's playing, and make sure we have, you know, a complete look at what these teams have, right? So Seattle and New Orleans. Well, everyone's got a quarterback, everyone's got a running back, everyone's got a tight end, everyone's got wide receivers, everyone's got a kicker. So that actually looks pretty clean. I don't see any super surprises. Will Geno Smith here at his 0.3 rating play okay enough to do this? Will Jameis Winston throw some interceptions? It's a good question. But the algorithm certainly likes Seattle to even flat out win this game by a touchdown. There might even be some reverse lines that are extremely juicy, given that they're at plus 180. Like Seattle -3 is probably plus 230, 250. They're reasonable lines here, so I don't see any reason. I see why they're plus 180. It's because of the win score, or the going thought that the Saints are a better team. But man, the point projections don't agree. So it's a hard, you know, it reinforces that Seattle is a very good pick in this game. So I would say for Monday night that it's Seattle to win for fun. Seattle plus this 4.5. If they do happen to lose this game, I bet you it's by a field goal or less. So that's a really, really strong pick. Is there anything else we want to talk about? I don't know. I think that's about it. I'm going to do a video for hockey next. And another thing, for those of you still watching, I believe that I'm going to do NBA. I've been asked to do the National Basketball Association games for a while now. I have an algorithm that's built for college basketball, and I'm going to turn around and start applying that to the NBA this week, and come out with an initial beta version, essentially, of the NBA file. So that will be coming out as well for those of you who've been asking me, so that should be fun as well. All right, good luck, everyone, and on Monday night, let's just hope that Seattle wins this game. All right, may your picks be winning.